Hey guys, Jobin here. I got a new toy I figured I'd show off to you folks, talk about a little bit. It's been a while since I got a knife that wasn't basically business related, but had my eye on this for a while, saw a really good deal, and jumped on it. This is the DPX Gear HEFT 4. This is the so-called mil-spec version in the Nylox, I may be pronouncing that right, steel, which, don't quote me on this, but according to a thread I saw on Blade Forums, is maybe a little bit like D2. And like I said, I've been eyeing this knife for a while, but standard retail is like $130 to $140, which was a bit on the expensive side, especially considering I have several other knives about this size already. But as of right now, if on Knife Center or the DPX Gear official website, you can get this knife and a hardcover copy of one of the designer's books. This is License to Kill. It's about private military contractors. You can get the book and the knife for $100. So I basically viewed that as, hey, the knife I've been eyeing for 30% off and a free book. So I went ahead and did that. And as I think I mentioned, this is designed by Robert Young Pelton, and the same guy who did the HEST. And you can probably see a family resemblance. I'll get out my HEST for a comparison in a few minutes. The handle on this thing is black G10. The fit and finish is really, really impressive. It's made by Lion Steel in Italy, and the blade's really well finished, really well machined. Like, all the edges are broken and slightly rounded off. It's a really nice design. It's a blade length and blade style I really like, and it has an extremely comfortable handle. So basically the key features are what attracted me to it. The designer tends to put lots of little doodads and gizmos on his knives, which most of them I could take or leave, but particularly in this model, they're implemented in ways that really don't get in the way, so if you don't care, they don't have to bother you. Now here's what they are. The jimping up here can be used as wire strippers, 3 different sizes. There's a secret compartment in the handle, which I will probably show later. This is ostensibly a pry bar, though considering how short and stubby it is, I'm not quite sure what you could pry with it, other than probably the tops off beer bottles. I don't know, but it's there. And that is, in my opinion, probably the oddest special feature, which I really don't get. I know what it is, but I don't know why it exists. It's a magnetized hex driver. And my reaction to it was basically, cool, that's awesome. Wait, why would I want that? I mean, I understand what hex drivers are good for, but I'm not quite sure where I'd be where I had my knife and I had my bit set, but apparently bringing along the screwdriver that came with the bit set was way too much to ask for. And there's also the little issue of using a razor sharp piece of steel as a wrench. Just seems like asking for trouble. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe you're looking at that and saying, oh, I know, that's fantastic, I know exactly what I'd use for, I'd use that all the time. But it seems kind of pointless to me. But like I said, though, it does no harm to the design. It doesn't stick out. It doesn't cause any problems. It's just there. The sheath is really quite well designed, and it's well stitched. Got MOLLE compatible attachment, plus these things and some lashing holes. A compartment for a sharpening stone, or I suppose the bit set for the hex driver. whatever you want to put in there. The retention loop is basically, it's stiffened. So it kind of springs out in a way when you release it. So you're less likely to end up slicing the strap on this sheath, which is a very good thing. There's a plastic insert down in there, and since the blade is fairly thick, it's directional. So you can't put the knife in like that out of the box, but there's a workaround. They thought of that. This thingy down here is the anchor point for the sheath insert. There it is on the other side there. Come on. Basically dead air while I fiddle with this. There we go. So now you can just reach in. Here's the insert. And you can put it back in and re-secure it for left or right hand carry, whichever you prefer. So, like I said, the sheath is really nice. I mean, I might have preferred Kydex and might make one or have one made for it. But as Moly nylon sheaths go, whoops, cluttered desk. As Moly nylon sheaths go, it's well above average. Let me just get this enough together so it doesn't fall apart on me. Okay. Now that family comparison I said I'd do. Here's the original HEFT, the first knife Mr. Pelton had manufactured. And you can very much see the resemblance. HEFT 4 is a little bit bigger. But a very similar design philosophy. Basically identical blade, except it grew about a ½ inch. Similar size handle. Both have a little pry bar thingy at the end, although I think probably the one on the HEFT, even though because it's pointy it's a little more intrusive, is probably actually a little more useful. Similar blade thickness. I think they're both about 2/10 of an inch stock. And another sort of knife in this class, here's an SE3. About the same size. The HEFT 4 has a little bit more cutting edge because it doesn't have a choil. But if you match it up blade tip to blade tip, these parts of the handle, the guard, both line up there. Handle's about the same length. It's pretty much the same size knife, except made out of different thickness blade stock. And I don't know which one I like better. I mean, they're both nice. I really like the handle on the HEFT. It's comfortable in pretty much any grip I've tried, and I've cut with it for a while and it seems to stay comfortable pretty well, which is sometimes a concern. Weirdly enough, I've sometimes found that knives that feel fantastic just to hold end up kind of cramping up your hand when you actually use them, but that does not appear to be the case here, though I've only had it for a few days, played around with it a bit. Let's take a look at the compartment. Hold on, let me put these away. One thing that's kind of interesting is Lion Steel seems to machine pinholes and screw holes and stuff really precisely. Maybe almost too precisely. Because I knew there was a compartment built into this handle, and it took me a while to get the handle off the first time. These are screws with basically a female pin and a male screw that goes into it. And that's why this happens. Take out the male side, which is probably the only one you'll be able to unscrew, and the handle still doesn't come off because it still has the pin running through it, and the pins are really tight through the holes. So what I ended up doing is this. Screws in lightly and tapped on it. Let's see if that'll do it. There we go. See, they're actually tight enough, it's kind of hard to push out by hand. I'll just leave that side on. There you go, there's a little secret compartment in there for whatever you can fit, I guess. Which again is perhaps an unnecessary feature, but considering how unobtrusive it is, it's kind of cool. The knife is, I would say, probably not terribly practical to use with just the handles removed, but if you really like cord wrap, you could take the G10 off and cord wrap it, and it would be really nice. See, everything's so tight when you put the scale back on, it like makes a snap sound as it goes into place. Really precise machine work. Overall, I'm really pleased with this. I like it. It's basically everything I expected. So in the short term, at least, it seems like a good buy. I mean, if you're interested in it, particularly right now, when it's available much cheaper than normal, maybe that's something you wanna check out as soon as possible. Because I don't know what the deal is. I don't know how long that cheaper price will last, but I'm happy with my Heft 4. I like it a lot. So that's it, guys. I'm gonna close out here. Thanks for watching, and remember where your knife is.